journey to teach our students the skills they will need to function in the 21st century and maybe beyond.
Okay, so let's go back and review, because this is what's important. If you can't get from the video lab to what you have to do according to the objective, then it doesn't work. So one more time, read the objective. I will be able to determine the distance, midpoint, and slope of a segment by using the correct formulas. So all we're doing is we're taking our mountain, okay? We're taking our mountain that Mr. Ma and I want to climb, okay? And we're making that mountain into a, into a segment. So we're taking something in real life and making it into a mathematical picture, statement, visual, like we would do if we were an architect. Okay? Now, in order to find any of these on the coordinate plane, what do we need to know? And you had answered it earlier. You got to know your 2 points. So according to the video, what were my 2 points? 1,000, 0, though it'd still be on the x-axis over here. So we're finding our 2 points of our slope, our ridge line. Zach? Okay, we know that it was 0, 0, which is the origin, because that's where the mountain started. And, go ahead, Zach. Numbers. So again, which way is better to find distance of that slope, of that hypotenuse?
The Pythagorean
theorem. Okay, so some of you are struggling. Some of you are struggling with the formula because first of all they're big numbers, but I think you're just not taking your time making sure you do your calculations correctly. But watch what happens if I use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, we know this distance is 1,000. It's set on the video, but also, if that's my x-coordinate, that must be 1,000. So this distance along the base of the mountain is 1,000. Okay, we know the height has to be 800. So now, using your Pythagorean theorem, we know A and B are called the what?
legs.
Okay, they're called the legs, right? Okay. The x-axis goes in which direction?
Horizontal.
Horizontal, so we're going to take that as our 1,000. Okay, the y-axis does what? Vertical, so we're going to take that as our B leg. Okay, now, quick way to do this squaring is, what's 1 times 1?
1.
And then we just have our 6 zeros. I'm just taking 1,000 times 1,000, something you should have learned how to multiply numbers that have zeros on them, right? We multiply the natural number part, we add the zeros.
So technically,
okay? So now let's do that here. What's 8 times 8?
Zeros, like 3 by 2.
16.
Oh, 16, sorry.
64 with 4 zeros, right? So 640,000. So if I add those two, and if you forgot, line up your place value. Okay, since we don't deal with numbers that big all the time. So 1,640,000, and that of course equals c squared. Well, what do we do to get rid of the squared part?
Square root.
You do the square root.
Good job, Shay.
But even if you didn't know that, you should remember from the distance formula that the last thing you always do is take the square root. So I'm going to find the square root of each. These cancel. All right. So now go to your iPods. If they don't have the square root on there, you turn it. As soon as you turn the iPod, it goes to a scientific calculator.
The other way you do
Okay.
it. I just recorded
All
you
right.
saying that.
Madeline. 1,280.
Go to the calculator.
Okay,
Where's
and
the
it's
calculator?
point something.
Right there, up top.
But
Don't be stupid now.
okay, please look up here now.
Turn it to sideways.
Okay. What label is this?
Okay, cool. Alright. No. No, I don't.
Remember that this is a point. It's coordinates. It's not a number or a measurement. Okay, that we can use for calculations. So now, okay, x plus x. What are my 2x coordinates?
1,000 and
Okay, so 0 plus 1,000, and we divide by 2. Okay, what are my 2y coordinates?
0.
Okay, we want to go in this order again. So 0 and 800, right? Divided by 2. Okay, 0 plus 1,000, obviously. 0 plus 800. Okay, so what are my 2 points?
500.
500 and 400. And remember, that is an ordered pair. Now, can somebody tell me a shortcut? Look at your picture. The whole idea behind this lab is to get you to think about visual images, like I did on the ground using my ball marker tool for golf and doing it in the dirt. Look at this. Tell me a shortcut. I see one group really looking. I don't see a lot of other people, and you're going to miss something. Come on. Look at my actual midpoint, and look over here at the picture. See if you can find your own shortcut.
It's half of, it's both even numbers and half.
Okay. If I think I'm hearing what you're saying is, well, if I go halfway here and halfway here, basically, and I meet, then that's my midpoint. So that would have given us 500, and that would have given us 400. So that's possible to do that. In other words, what did I do? I took the full distance, I divided in half. That's what I did over here. I took the full distance and I divided in half. I just simply used the picture, though, instead of the formula. Okay? All right, and then we're going to do one more thing, and then I'm going to let you finish up. Okay, let's do slope. Obviously, I already have this set up to do slope, right? So what is slope?
Y minus y.
Rise over run.
Okay, y is over run, or if we wanted to do the formula, y minus y and x minus x. But we've already established, when I subtract 2 places, okay, on a map or 2 coordinates, what am I actually finding?
The distance.
The distance between them. Well, we already have that. That's why I gave you that graph paper. That's why I gave you the idea of using a coordinate plane and imposing it, imposing on the mountain itself. That doesn't sound right. If you put something on top of something else. Anyway. Okay, so slope. How far did I go up?
800.
How far did I go over?
1,000.
Okay? Tell me how to simplify that nice and quickly.
Divided by 2.
Some first. Some you should have learned as a shortcut.
Get rid of the 0.
Okay, I'm just dividing by 10. I divided by 100. So now I have 8 over 10. What goes into both?
2.
2.
Divide by 2. Divide by 2. That gives me 4/5. All right. What was the slope that the quadrant rated for?
3/4.
Okay, so compare 3/4 to 4/5. Remember we did this earlier in the year. Do your cross multiplying. Or change to a decimal. Or make a picture. How do you know?
Because I changed it into the way I did 4 times 5 and then,
Not 4 times 5.
yeah, because I changed both of the ones to 20.
Oh, I see. So you did common denominators. So here's a shortcut for that. 3 times 5 is 15. That would have been 15 20ths. 4 times 4 would have been 16 20ths. In other words, when I cross multiply, I'm really getting the numerator, and the denominators would have been the same, so I can write them. So 15, all right, is less than 4/5. So our slope is greater than the slope that the quad is rated for, so we probably would tip over, theoretically. Okay? All right, so finish up what you're doing and then get ready for the quiz. Good job. Know to find every other point. So then you had to find the distance. Okay? You can use the distance formula, or we could use what else? Pythagorean theorem, which might actually be easier, because what's this distance down here?
X.
1,000. What's this distance going up?
800.
So again, you have your right triangle. So it might be easier with those numbers instead of putting them in the formula. Okay, to find the midpoint. Okay, you have the midpoint formula. Okay, you could estimate, but we want an exact answer. Okay, then you had to find the distance to the midpoint because I'm out of shape and Mr. Maya isn't, so I might need a break. Then you had to find the slope. And why did we want to know the slope according to the video?
So you don't flip over backwards on your
Yeah, if we decided this was way too long after finding the distance and stuff, we wanted to take a quad. So what did we say the quad was rated at to drive up a slope?
3/4.
3/4. Okay? So you're supposed to find out the slope and determine is that more or less. If it's more slope, what happens?
You flip over.
You flip over and according to Mr. Ma, you do what? You break your neck and get paralyzed because you've seen that in Alaska. Okay, the fifth thing, you're supposed to find the quarter point. All right? Because maybe I can't make it up halfway, I can only go a quarter of the way. Now let me give you a hint. Distance is a measurement. You can divide distance. Money is a measurement. I can divide money. How much something holds, volume, is a measurement. I cannot take midpoint itself and divide it. Midpoint is a spot. You can't divide it because how do you divide a spot? You're already there. It's a point in space. Okay? It doesn't have a measurement attached to it. It has coordinates. So some people thought, well, if I know the midpoint, I just divide those by 2 and that'll give me these points. Doesn't work that way. Okay? And finally, you had to find the distance to the quarter point. Well, if I know the whole distance, how do we find halfway? All right, divide by 2. That has nothing to do with this stuff. That's common sense. Okay, if I want to find the quarter point's distance, what should I do? Divide by 4. Quarter. Quarter point, quad, quarter. Okay? All right. Okay, any questions? So you guys have to have this finished in 20 minutes. Some of you are already done. If you do finish early enough, you type out your group, you guys can start tomorrow's homework. Not the 1 through 33 odd, but the 2 through 32 even. Okay?
Play it? Are you playing it? Yes.
Okay, first of all, let's establish what the points are. Now, you guys know the points. You
paused
should
it.
use the points.
Oh, I did. How did I do that?
Points.
Was shaking it? I don't know. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that sounded really weird.
No, I gave the points up here. Again, that's in the video. I told you in the video the points. 1,000 zeros over here. That's flat. We don't need this.
Oh my god, that hurt.
You need this point. You need the point that's on the ridge. Now, feet.
Oh,
Okay, so that's our distance. 1,280. Now, does that make sense? Well, if we were to count all these
Was that
going this
squared?
way and get 1,000,
Can't tell.
obviously this has to be larger than that because we have done that estimation. Okay? All right, so that's the beginning part, and I know a lot of you didn't have that correct. Okay, so now finish out. You got 10 minutes.
so how do you calculate the midpoint?
X plus
You have to
X
do what the direction says.
divided by 2 plus Y plus
The book
Y,
tells you how to do it.
which is divided by 2.
All right, good job.